Everyone still looks uncomfortable.
Perhaps they're all remembering that old saying, power corrupts.
Hello and welcome to Second Officer Slog, episode 50. I'm your host, Em, and with me is my number one, Jackson.
Episode 50.
Cutting it out.
Wait, real?
No, probably not, because that takes effort.
That does take effort.
I wasn't going to do the joke in this one, and then you bit and did the joke, so now you're the uncool one for once.
Yeah, well, look. This episode's bad. This is going to be a bad episode because it's a bad episode of Star Trek. Because
I don't think it's a bad episode of Star Trek. I just
true.
don't care anymore. Anyway, let's just talk about it. We're going to get into Discovery. This is going to be a short episode, probably. This episode is called Through the Valley of Shadows. It is the 12th episode of Season 2 of Discovery. It aired the 4th of April, 2019. It was written by Bon Young Kim and Erica Lippold. It was directed by Doug Amioski. I always forget how to say this. It takes place in both the year 2257 and the year 2266. What could that possibly mean?
What could that possibly mean?
Jackson, what happens in this episode?
In this episode, I'm going to do a very, very quick summary. So I'm not going to get into too much stuff, but there are two main plots. The first plot is Burnham and Spock go to investigate a Section 31 ship that missed its check-in by 10 minutes. And Burnham goes, this is an irregularity that Section 31 would never have. This must mean something. This is our only lead on control. We have to go and find out what it is. And at no point does she go, this is obviously a trap. Well, it's obviously a trap. So she goes, she finds a survivor on this ship. Because it's ejected everyone into space, because that's actually what happened. The control's taken over. And then a survivor who is in an EVA suit, who is Cameron from the first episodes of the show, the one who got ejected into space and died in the first episode, the second episode of the first season. And also the one that she killed the Mirror Universe version of in a big poignant moment last season. But apparently he's fine and joined Section 31. And he's like, oh no, we've got to go back. Control's taken over the ship. Control's taken over Section 31. We've got to do this. And Burnham and Spock, for some reason, believe him, even though obviously he is Control, and the actual trap is trying to get Burnham here because Control is afraid of Burnham and wants to make sure that Burnham can't fuck up Control's plans. And there's a big fight. Burnham and Spock stop Control. That's the whole episode. They stop Control. Control does not take out Burnham. They go, maybe there is a chance. That's it. That's the whole of that plot. The other plot is on Boreth, which, if you remember, is where Ash and L'Rell left their child. Boreth being the place where the Monastery of Kalish is, and they guard the time crystals. There's a signal above it, one of the signals, and Pike decides to go and try to get a time crystal. There's some secret Klingon baby drama on the ship, but we'll talk about those character scenes later. The upshot of the plot is that they're like, we will never let the humans or anyone just take the time crystals. And then Pike beams down and goes, but if you don't give us the time crystals, all life will end. And then they go, well, fair enough then. And he takes the time crystal, but he must sacrifice greatly to take the time crystal. And for plot reasons, taking the time crystal will lock his timeline in, even though the whole episode is about the whole season's about how timelines can be changed. But don't worry about that, because it's fan service time, and he witnesses his future and realizes that to take the time crystal to save the galaxy from the Reapers or whatever in the form of Control, he has to accept that he will be in an explosion and get in a wheelchair in 9 years. And he decides, I will be willing to bear that sacrifice. We can't just yet, but now we can, because that's actually the whole plot. That's the whole episode. That's all that happens.
I feel like calling Christopher Pike getting horribly burned and then left in a chair where he can't do anything fan service is maybe the most horrifying thing I've ever heard. You're not wrong,
it is.
But I hate it. I hate it. See Christopher Pike in the chair, one, no longer makes sense in a world where Ariam blew her whole damn body up and got a robot body.
She's got a robot body.
Is he just waiting for a new robot? Is he on a wait list for the robot body? Is that why he's in the chair? Did Spock take him to Talos 4 as he was about to get a robot body and be fine again?
Who knows?
The first robot captain of the Starfleet.
Yep. These are solved issues.
Yeah, it just makes that stuff seem really weird. Like, the Pike stuff's already kind of weird, where it's like, oh, he's disabled, but it's better for him to live a lie the rest of his life than be stuck in a wheelchair. I know it's more involved than a wheelchair. Like, this one explicitly makes it like he is just like in a vegetative state on like a respirator, right? Like, it's much more extreme than the way it looked in the 60s show.
Yes. He's just like a head on a black box.
Yeah, but also lights. Robot bodies.
Robot bodies. Remember that she existed. She was here. Robot bodies.
Literally had a cyber brain.
She did. She had a cyber brain. And you see the injury where he just kind of gets burned a bit, and it's like, he's fine. I know he's fine.
Yes. Spock literally comes back from a much worse injury in like 10 years. So 15 years.
What, dying?
Yes.
He comes back with reasons. That's not the same thing. It's not the same thing as robot bodies.
Yeah, I just don't think the Pike thing makes sense, like, structurally in the way that they've now done this because Discovery exists, but also Pike making the noble sacrifice to, like, I'm going to choose the future where I'm going to get blown up and put in a chair, is outrageous and bad. Like, it's not... It depicts this as like, oh, this is him choosing the ultimate sacrifice, when, like, the whole point of a Starfleet captain is if you show them a future, they're gonna be like, fuck it, I can do something different anyway because I'm a Starfleet captain.
Yeah, no, like...
The entire plot of this season is them seeing a future going, fuck it, we're gonna change that.
And then in this, is like, this will lock your future in, and for no reason. It's not like that they're doing the thing... There is a version of this stuff that could have tied into the ideas of faith and everything that started the series, and they could be actually like, no, you have to choose between fates, blah blah blah, and it could have been more arch and like leading.
You mean a duel of the fates?
A duel of the fates, if one would imagine. But if they lent into like the arch, like Battle of the Gods stuff, the series could go towards.
Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods.
Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods, but like. For example, there is a bit in DS9, I'm not going to spoil it in case you haven't watched DS9, where the gods are like, if we do this for you, we're going to take from you later. And it's very, like, that is how you do that. It leans into this being fantastical storytelling where there are powers bigger than you. It leans into, like, making faith an actual part of the plot and not just time logic, because we forgot that faith was a theme.
But also, that's not a prequel.
Also, it's not a prequel. Yes.
Like, this is like if they made, like, if like Star Trek 11 was a movie about Picard going back to like the first season and Q going, if you save the ship, your family's gonna die in a fire, and he's gonna be like, I know my family's gonna die in a fire.
Exactly like that. Holy shit, it is exactly like that. That's just what they did. It's really bad, is the thing.
Yes.
There's no way to defend against it. It's a terrible choice. But it's not in a way that's like, I'm offended, right? Like, I don't actually care. It's Pike. Who cares?
Yeah, Pike was always going to end up in the chair, always going to go to Talos 4. That was writ before he even showed up in this. Yeah, like, before season 2 of Discovery, Christopher Pike was in literally an episode and a half.
Yep. And it's like, if they make Control the Borg or whatever, then I'll be mad, because then that, like, fucks with things about Star Trek I care about. But this, I don't care. It's just a bad episode of, like, why would you do... What do they think people are going to react to with this? Like, oh, yeah, I saw the thing that I know that happens in an episode that doesn't matter, that was only written because they needed to use clip shows of the pilot and they didn't have the actor. Like, It's not core thematic Star Trek stuff. It's Christopher Pike. I'm glad he's here, but they treat him like this deeply important character, and he's not.
No.
He's just a guy. That's why he's good.
You forget the part where he went to Jim Kirk in a bar and convinced him to join Starfleet.
I do forget that part. In fact, I very much like to forget that part. Forgetting that part is one of my favorite hobbies.
Canonically not this Christopher Pike, but who cares? I'm going to count it.
He was just in a normal wheelchair for a bit, but then he got killed separately.
Yes. No Talos 4 for him.
No Talos 4 for him. Absolutely none. Talos 4 did not happen in that universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because so that plot also links in with the secret Klingon baby stuff that we were joking about last time, and all of that gets immediately dropped in a way that's pretty good because they don't play it for drama between Ash and Burnham. They just have a conversation about it. They just go, he's like, yeah, I had a secret Klingon baby and I had to keep it a secret, and she's like, well, yeah, of course. It sucks that you had to not tell anyone, and that's the whole argument, and it's nothing. And I'm like, oh, thank God. So that stuff was good because I like Ash, I like Burnham, I like them together. But then there's a twist involving what is the name of the timekeeper on Boreth?
Tanavik. Yeah.
Tanavik, who is albino Klingon. So you immediately know that he's Ash's and L'Rell's son. But just grown up because time passes differently here, which I actually think is the most horrifying fate.
I like the idea that some Klingons just live in a weird timey-wimey monastery. But also, like, Worf and Kahless just spent a bunch of time here at some point.
Yep.
So, like, did they know any of that?
I don't know. I mean, so that doesn't really fit.
Are there still time crystals on Boreth in the 24th century?
I don't know. Because the time crystals aren't a thing on... That's a new thing for this series, right?
Yes, but, like, this is where Worf goes when the Enterprise D blows up. Like, he just hangs out on Boreth for, like, a year.
I know. Because Boreth is an important planet. Like, I've always read Boreth as just an important spiritual planet to the Klingons because it's got all the Kahless stuff, and it's kind of separated from the hierarchy of actual Klingon government.
Mm-hmm.
And that is true here, but they link it in with time crystals that they guard because time is too dangerous to be fucked with, but also that means apparently you can become an old Klingon just in the course of a couple weeks of television. Because it's still 2257!
Yes.
Which means that he's had his entire life in like a bubble, like he's not been able to experience time in the way... Like, I feel like this episode does not realize how fucked up it is putting your baby in a 70-year time bubble.
I mean, he's probably seen all sorts of shit. Like, whatever. He seems like he was pretty happy with the way his life turned out.
Oh, he's fine with it, but if you have a kid and you're like, we're going to send him to Boreth.
If my options were to just be a Klingon person or be the fucking Guardian of Time, I think I would pick Guardian of Time.
Guardian of Time? Yeah, all right. I mean, I get it. But then he's like, many have passed here, and they all leave. And it's been 3 weeks and since this guy was a baby. So I don't know who's come here in the last 2 weeks.
Well, I thought that there was an implication that Boreth itself might be weirdly timey-wimey.
So that they sent him here, but okay, sure.
Or Tenavik as the Guardian of the Crystals moves back and forth through time. Like, maybe in a back room is, like, 2-month-old Tenavik also at this moment.
Well, no, because they put the, they act like they might be doing that. With the...
Yeah, I mean, they don't really talk about it explicitly enough for it to be clear, right?
Well,
we need the book about Tenavik, is what I'm saying.
We
need fucking Star Trek books.
We do need Star Trek books. But I'm fairly sure there's a shot where he's like, here's the stone of the past and the stone of the present, and there's a long panning shot over the crib, and you're like, wait, is the baby also going to be in there? And it's not. It's just like a...
No, there was no shot of the crib. It was
Are you
just
sure it's not?
Stone,
was that just a stone? I thought that was the
Yes.
crib that he was meant to be
No.
in. Okay. Well, then I was like, then that was just a really weird shot for no reason.
Yes. I mean, look, there's literally a shot where Saru's face dissolves into a rock face that looks like Saru's face. So...
But it's not an episode about Saru or has anything to do with him.
No, it's just they really wanted to make a cool transition. So Klingon, like, Boreth just has a mountainside that looks like the face of a Kelpian for no good reason.
Apparently.
But when you remove all the, like, ornamentation from Saru's face, all he actually looks like is fucking Groot, so it just looks like a Groot mountain.
Oh no! It's Stone Groot.
Anyway, it was a way to get Kenneth Mitchell back in Klingon makeup. He played Cole and Cole shot.
Yeah. We were all frustrated that it is not Javid Iqbal.
Yeah. Why would you not get Javid Iqbal? And the actual answer is because he's not a great Klingon actor.
Yeah, like the actual answer is because I'm sure that whoever plays Ash, I forgot his name, sorry, does not want to get...
Shazad
Latif does not want to get back in the makeup again.
Yes.
But it is the only, like, in-joke that Discovery has generated itself. It is the warmest fandom thing. I feel like you should jump at the chance to get Javid Iqbal credited on screen again. Can you imagine? Like, you'd mark out. It's one of the only things that Discovery actually invented that someone would mark out about. And that's kind of damning in and of itself, but I would. I'm sorry. It's a good bet. So what else is there? Because all the Pike stuff's bad. I like the stuff with L'Rell. I wish
L'Rell shows up in a fucking D7 looking awesome, which is the thing that matters here.
Oh, L'Rell rules so hard.
I like the D7. I like this new Discovery version of the D7. It's a good look.
Yep.
It's at least been long enough for them to look at the plans and then build the ship. So it's been at least like 6-7 months, probably.
2257 is the world's longest year.
Yes. That's accurate.
It's already been at least 10 months. It was like October when the series started.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't actually matter. But come on. Just make it the next year. No one cares.
Yeah, I know.
I wish L'Rell had more to do other than just kind of argue with Ash and be like, oh, you're in love with Michael Burnham, but that's okay.
She barely argues. She shows up and is like, well, this is going to be the end of our plot because I don't care about you anymore. And I'm like, yeah, no, me either, really.
Yep.
She should go date Cornwell. This is what needs to happen.
It does need to happen. But like the fact that they've obviously forgotten the part where all the stuff we predicted about Ash spying on Second 31, part of Klingon plot, just gone. Just absolutely gone. Maybe they never had that idea in the first place, but it's so obvious that I refuse to believe no one said it out loud at the writer's room once, two writing staffs ago.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating that L'Rell doesn't really get to engage with the plot in any actual way.
Also, L'Rell shows up and goes, we have time crystals, we guard them with our lives because it's a weapon too powerful. When we literally found out 2 episodes ago that Section 31 built a time cybersuit because the Klingons were building a time cybersuit.
Yep. I mean,
no one went to L'Rell and was like, what about your time cybersuit? And she's like, oh yes, I've got one of those.
Well, I assume that that is a thing that happened recently, right? That
what?
They would... Well, because no one said that the Klingons were still building the cybersuits.
That's true. They were building it around the same time that Dr. Burnham was, so like 20 years ago.
Yeah, so I guess that that was a reference to the fact that they used to. That lined up to me.
I don't know. In my mind, they probably have that prototype lying around, but they're never going to talk about it.
No, they're never going to talk about it. God, this season sucks.
Unless next episode is L'Rell going like, I know how to undo this entire season. Get in the Klingon cybersuit.
Oh, you broke your cybersuit? Well, we've got
That's
one.
why the signals are red, because they're from the Klingon suit.
Yes! I can't believe just, shooting the shit about this series, for 2 seconds we come up with better plots than they've got.
Yes.
Every time.
Yeah, I'm really ready to talk about books again.
We really need to talk about books again. This is killing us. 2 weeks.
Yeah,
2 weeks.
I know.
Because this episode isn't even bad enough to deserve the negativity that we're giving it here.
No, I actually kind of enjoyed it, but there's nothing here. It's just the emptiest thing.
Yep, it's just some television. And you watch it and you're like, well, time passed, and I don't hate the time passed.
There's a really good scene. The one thing, maybe the best scene in this episode is a scene in the cafeteria with Osekun, Linus, Detmer, and Nilsson all having lunch together, having a good time, and Stamets moping. And it's exactly the thing we asked for in the Arium episode, where you need to show these characters hanging out for us to believe that they hang out, and so they do.
It's good. It's a really good scene.
Then Jet Reno comes up and gives Stamets a lesbian pep talk, like, please stop being mopey. You're making all the gays in space look bad.
Yes! She sure does.
Yes. Linus eats bamboo. Linus is actually the hero of Discovery.
I love Linus so much.
No.
They've got this stuff. Why isn't the show just everyone hanging out?
Yeah. I know.
So we'll do the... should we do the... Jet Reno stuff, or should we do the Spock?
Yeah, Jet Reno literally gives both Stamets and Culber pep talks saying, get the fuck over yourselves. I also lost a wife and I'm fine, and you got yours back, so stop being a baby.
Yep. The content of her talk is essentially being I'm a tragic space lesbian, could you stop being such a trying to get the tragic space gays to get over themselves.
Yes, your tragedy ended. Stop it.
Yep.
Which is very funny because Culber literally is just blindsided in the middle of work by this. Wasn't even moping, just trying to fix people, and she comes in to lecture him because his ex is moping too much for her.
It's very funny because the Culber scene's actually, like, on the face of it, very unfair. Like, Culber hasn't done anything here other than die.
No, but it is funny how much he is just, like, totally blind. So he's like, excuse me, I'm trying to fix your finger.
And she's like, look, I am a tragic space lesbian, but I don't have any screen time, and you do, so can you just get over yourselves for the love of God? I'm sick of it. It's infecting everyone's time. We're trying to have a good time in our one dinner scene.
Put her on the ship regularly next season. That's my take.
I mean, they're gonna fucking need it, because Pike's not gonna be here.
Well, yeah, I know.
Spock's
Captain
not
Saru, I feel like Captain Saru is back on the table this episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. It'll be fine. Like, I don't care, but it's fine.
Yep.
Hopefully he, like, shoots things out of his neck to stop people talking shit on the bridge.
Oh, yeah, you were right, Captain. The negotiations were short because you shot them with your head teeth.
They're gonna remember that he's lost his, like, threat ganglia, but no one's ever gonna remember the part where he has automatic, like, predator head teeth.
That's because it's the stupidest thing that's ever happened in a show full of really stupid things.
Yes. Really, I think about the episode a lot and how the, like, grossness of it wouldn't even faze me now because I don't care. It came just at the point where I still cared to be annoyed by that episode.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
So the Spock and Burnham stuff, they go on.
They're just full on siblings, like, grumping at each other now, which is good. I appreciate that.
Yep. But the thematic, like, debate that they're having is kind of very weak because it's basically her going, we have to use logic. We cannot presume that the signals will give us an answer. We have to figure out an answer because we have to be proactive. And Spock's response is, yes, but this is a television show, and I think we should just let the plot happen.
Yes, he's not wrong. Spock continues to be right.
Because she's like, why, Spock, do you think we should just investigate the signals? Why do you think that will, like, lead us to the answer when we have to investigate all forms of, do things like in the real world? And Spock is actually like, well, yeah, but the signals have worked so far, and they kind of all point to you, and I think that this will all tie together. I think we just have to let this happen at this point.
I think there's 2 more episodes this season, and we should see what happens, sister.
And then, like, the proof of it is, because the whole very, very obvious trap happens.
Yes.
The fact they didn't see the trap coming is hilarious because it's the world's most obvious trap. Trap occurs, and then they defeat Control.
It's like 3 steps of them should have realized they're going to a trap. When it's Spock and Burnham going out to investigate a Section 31 ship by themselves, that's obviously a trap. When it's dead in space and all the crew have been evacuated, that's a triple trap. When they find the one guy who's still alive and it happens to be someone that Burnham knows, just scream that it's a trap and warp out of there, please.
Yep. They do not.
They do not.
But they do. There's the moment where she realizes that he's Control, but again, not through anything resembling deduction, because he gives himself away by going, "God, it's good to be Control." By basically going, Control's so good, and I think that we should just do the good thing. Because they're having a conversation about why he's joined Section 31, and he basically starts eventually just giving Control's motivation about how the universe needs to be balanced and whatever. And
we got to believe in the threat assessment.
And then Burnham's like, wait, this might be a trap.
Thank you, Burnham. You're supposed to be the smart one.
And so then they defeat Control, and Spock's like, well, now this proves that if Control is scared of you enough to drag you to a trap, then you must be leading us to the solution because you are the only thing that it cannot control. Like, you are the thing it is scared of because you can stop this in the next episode of television. And I'm like, we already knew all this. This episode was pointless. The thing we learned was we should let the plot happen.
Yeah, well, it's gonna happen. All I gotta do is sit here and watch it. I guess all you're telling me to do is watch it and not think about it, which is the worst thing Star Trek could ask of a viewer.
That's literally what the themes are of the episode. Is don't ask questions about, like, proactively engaging in what things could mean. Just let the plot happen and it'll sort itself out.
Yep.
And Spock's right when he says that.
Yep. Yeah.
There's another funny bit.
What if we just not cover season 3 in this podcast?
It's very likely, just because I do not want to take this time off books again.
If it had been like last season where it was good, we wouldn't have this problem.
No, we would not, but alas.
Yeah.
And so there's one line that's very funny in this scene where so they find Cameron and he's alive, and you're like, wait, that's him, the guy who flew into space, and then they give you a flashback and showing him flying in space.
They explicitly give you a flashback of them on the bridge with Burnham's terrible pilot hair.
Oh, right. Remember? Oh, God, that's such bad hair. Her Vulcan hair is so bad. And then there's a line where she's like, Detmer said you survived, but I didn't know you went to Section 31. Which means that after she, like, poignantly murdered his Mirror Universe counterpart, she went back to Detmer and go, God, I've killed this guy twice. And Detmer went, he's alive. What are you talking about? Which is, like, they only have that line to explain why her reaction to him being alive isn't, well, you're obviously a trap. God, it's dumb. It's dumb. Do we have any more actual reactions to this episode?
No, I don't have anything. I'm just tired. I'm just tired of Discovery.
Yeah, sorry the energy of this is so down, but it's just we really just feel very disappointed in the show. But we've got 2 weeks, and then we're going to read the book that we've.
Yeah, I don't even dislike watching it. It's just when I go to think about it, I'm like, there's nothing to hold on to here. And what there is like flies in the face of the ideas of thinking about Star Trek. Like it's not like, oh, this corrupts the very themes of Star Trek. Like, no, I don't give a shit about that really. It's just a show that doesn't reward curiosity in a way that, like, I think is antithetical to watching sci-fi in general and Trek in specifically.
Yeah, it's not like it's doing things that like completely shit on what Star Trek is about thematically. It just is inert and the thing you said, I'm agreeing with you. I'm trying to reword it, but I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, no, I know. We would
It's
get
sad.
more out of watching Clone Wars than watching this in terms of talking about Star Trek themes.
Did you have this conversation in the DMs as well?
No.
Oh, okay, so that's just a coincidence that you're talking. Okay, I've had a conversation with someone saying that Clone Wars is a better show than Discovery.
It is.
It is. It just is.
It absolutely is.
Imagine if this show had an episode that was just Godzilla. Never.
Yeah. Clone Wars is both fun, accessible to everyone, and is a better sci-fi show than this Star Trek season ever could be.
And it's 22 minutes long.
Yes, and it's 20 minutes long.
Man, I should go back to Clone Wars.
Yeah, same. I don't have time,
I
but
also don't have time. 22 minutes, don't have them.
Beach House Clone Wars.
Oh, please, someone. We'll do it. We'll do it. If someone wants us to watch Clone Wars, we'll do it. But it would take a long time with how, Anyway, this episode's clearly done.
Yeah, we'll be back next week for it's Such Sweet Sorrow, I think is the name of the episode.
Yes, it is called Such Sweet Sorrow. Oh, right.
Yes.
The episode ends with them self-destructing the Enterprise.
Well, we should do that. They don't actually do that. Yeah.
I mean, they give the order to do that. Not the Enterprise.
Because we're still arguing over the Section 31 wants the sphere data. Like, fucking the most worthless MacGuffin in the world.
The fact that this is, like, all of the plotting in this season has been one MacGuffin to the next. It's hell. It doesn't have to be how plots work.
Yeah, the Enterprise is going to be their next episode, so that's good.
I haven't seen it because I didn't watch the preview, but I will. If anyone has a screenshot of what the Enterprise bridge looks like, just send that to me.
I'm pretty sure someone put it in our Discord. So
Good. Okay, because I don't want to know the preview, but I know that shot's there and I'm fine.
It is. There's just a picture in our Discord of the Enterprise bridge. It's not even spoiler tagged because you don't have to spoiler tag stuff in.
Oh, there it is. That's
Yes.
just the Enterprise.
Yes.
If I had seen this at the beginning of this season, I'd feel something.
I'm still like, hell yeah, the Enterprise is here. So
Hell yeah, the Enterprise is here. Look at that. They've got the red thing. I think it's a little too black. I think I would have lightened up the grey.
Yeah, but I mean, it is just it's red. It's a Discovery style bridge, but it's red. That's all I really needed.
Yeah, number one's there. Number one, I was only in that one scene. God, everyone's in the good uniform.
She was putting habanero sauce on her fries.
She's cool.
Yep.
Well, let's hope it ends with at least something more resembling last week than this week, because last week was fun.
Look, the season's supposed to end with something shocking. I can't imagine what it is, given that they've closed every possible loop here.
Bog. It's definitely the Bog.
If it's the Borg, I'm just gonna not watch season 3. I'm just gonna be so pissed I can't.
I was convinced it wasn't, and then at the preview of this episode, the line they used of Control, like taking over Leland, was "struggle is useless," which is
if Leland is the Borg and that's how this season ends, we will not be covering season 3 for this show. I refuse.
Done. Star Trek's done.
Like, we'll watch it and we'll maybe talk about it like in abstract, but we are not doing week to week. I fucking refuse.
Let's hope that's not true then. But thank you very much for listening, everyone. For us moaning about this for 30 minutes.
I didn't even feel down on the episode until it came time to like think about it, and then I'm like, oh, there's nothing. I hate this.
I'd much rather a bad episode I can think about.
Yeah. Give us the head teeth any
Give us the
fucking
head
day.
teeth. Give us the head teeth. Goodbye.
That's what I want to be head teeth in the face so I never have to think about this again.
Will we see you out there? Is that a thing that we will do or not?
Oh, yeah. Shut up. Next time we will see you out there.